Hey guys, if you've clicked into the video, I assume you either love XERJOFF, you hate XERJOFF, or you're just not sure, and maybe you want to explore the house. Either way, welcome to today's video. In a recent community post on my channel, and let me pause. For those of you that don't know what I mean by community post, one, it's okay. YouTube can be a really strange place with a lot of nooks and crannies here and there. If you go to someone's homepage, like if you go to my channel's homepage, there should be tabs across the top. And one of those is, it says community. And it's a place to post. Sometimes I'll post news about my channel. I'll say, hey, go check out this person's video, or I'll do a poll or announce a winner of a giveaway or something like that. It's just a place to do static posts, not videos. And if you are subscribed to my channel, my community post will show up in your feed when you go to your subscriptions tab. So that is what I mean by community. I did a community poll asking which house review would you like to see most from me. The choices were Bond Number 9, Tom Ford, Amouage, XERJOFF, and House of Sillage. XERJOFF inched out ahead as the first choice with 31% of votes, and 789 of you weighed in as of the day of this video. Amouage will be up next. It was right behind XERJOFF at 30%. And then Bond Number 9 came in at 18%, so I'll do that video third, followed by House of Sillage at only 11%, and poor little Tom Ford at 9%. All right, the people have spoken. Y'all are not that crazy about Tom Ford, but let's get into these XERJOFFs. Rather than share with you every XERJOFF I've tried, because I've tried, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 30. There have been a few that I have owned that I enjoyed and then sold, or that I didn't enjoy as much as I thought I would and have passed along or whatever. So in the interest of time and this not being a 3-hour video, I'd like to share with you my top 10 XERJOFF fragrances that I love. One of them I don't own because it's one I love for my husband, but he wasn't necessarily interested in a bottle, at least not now. But I think it's awesome enough to be in this lineup, so I'll talk about that. So I will count these down from 10 to first place. Before I do that, I do want to say there are some fragrances I tried that really were maybe just not for me, at least not right now. So let me talk about those super quickly and why they didn't work out for me. You might love them. They might be right up your alley. Overture is one that people are in love with. Like, a lot of folks really enjoy this and talk about it being like a fruity summer tropical fragrance. I found this to be a little bit overpowering on the fruity notes. It kind of overtook me. So it was a little bit too much for me as an olfactory experience, in the same way that like Dolce Diablo from Narcotica was. I think that's a beautiful fragrance too, but there's something so sort of strong about the dominant notes in there that just were a little bit much for me. So I had to say no to that. I do like Erba Pura, but I have a beautiful dupe of it from Al Haramain, which is Amber Oud Gold, that I enjoy and will stick with that. So that one I did not purchase a full bottle of. I think the musk in the original is maybe a tiny bit more than I want to deal with, and I like the dupe enough that I'll just stick with that. I mean, that's not to say that I wouldn't like get Erba Pura in the future. So let's just be clear about that. La Capitale, I tried and enjoyed, but didn't, at least on my sampling experience, didn't find it different enough to justify me purchasing it. And I had fallen in love with Venom Incarnate from Stefan Humbert Lucas at about the same time, and preferred that one as like a strawberry-centric fragrance over La Capitale. So that said, I didn't dislike it, but I preferred something different at the time, decided not to pick that up. Cruz del Sur 2, which people know to be this sort of mango milkshake fragrance, is one that I probably need to revisit. The time that I tried it, I thought it was something, it almost smelled for me on me. And this, again, was just a sampling experience. Smelled almost like rotten milk on my skin. I didn't love it so much. I'd be willing to try it again though, because that was years ago. And again, it was a sample. And as I always say, you can't always tell what a fragrance is really like from a sample. I did own Apollonia at one point and think that is a nice, pleasant fragrance. It wasn't so loved in my house. Like, people thought it was a weird scent, and it was a very soft scent on me and a little bit non-distinct. And so I ended up selling that. I think the bottle's beautiful. And I know that some folks really, really love that sort of lipsticky, powdery makeup smell, and it worked out beautifully for them. So definitely try it out. Allende is one that I also enjoyed sampling, but didn't feel like I needed a full bottle of. There was something in that that got a tiny bit waxy for me. It's like this lactonic. Some people have compared it as smelling to like Jergens lotion. I think there's supposed to be a nutty aspect to that, and it's lactonic, and I forget what else. So that one is one that I passed on. Ivory Root, I know, is loved here on YouTube. It was too spicy and too something, too incensey dark something. Again, it's been a long, long time since I tried it. I appreciate what it is. And I think for people that love a dark, spicy, is it vanilla in the base or is it woody? I forget. You may want to try that out. A lot of folks really love that. It didn't quite work out for me in the time that I tried it. I used to own Golden Dollar, which is from the I think it's a coffee fragrance. It smells like coffee, and in the opening, it smells a little bit like marijuana. Oh my God. But then it settles down into this deep, dark coffee fragrance, and it is beautiful. I didn't reach for it often. So that one, I think it's on sale on Mercari for me. Italica is one that I would like to revisit again. It came across a little bit cherry for me versus the almond biscotti thing that everybody else was describing. I didn't quite get that out of it. I got more like a cherry fruity nuance. And so it kind of threw me off, but I'd like to try that again sometime. I didn't pick it up. Bouquet Ideal is lovely. It's a spicy, if I remember correctly, vanilla with woodiness to it. Is that right? And it's nice. I had other fragrances like that, so I didn't pick that up, but I have tried it and like it. And then you're not going to hear about it in this video because it's newer and I'm still testing it out, but Quattro Pizzi is lovely. But you have to be a tuberose lover and you have to like tuberose and warmth. There's an amberiness to it, if I remember from trying it. There's a little bit of spiciness. There's some green aspects. It's a really interesting, different, bizarre fragrance. I'll talk about that another time, but it's not in my top 10. So we've talked enough about what I don't like. Let's go through the top 10. I'll try to do this mostly from memory so I can share with you what the fragrance smells like rather than concentrating on sharing out the notes. So in 10th place for me is the lovely Lira. I love the bottle. I think it's really cute and I love the artwork on it. This is from a line under XERJOFF called Casamarati. Not that that matters. So you get either this bottle, actually there's a bunch of different bottles, but the most popular ones that you'll see in social media are going to be these from the Casamarati line, and spoiler alert, Naxos is in this too, this type of bottle, okay? This got really, really popular for smelling like a lemon pound cake, and I agree. It's got this really light, fluffy, bright, zingy lemon in it and a sweetness. And I believe one of the base notes in here is vanilla, lemon vanilla. I have other lemon vanillas that I really enjoy, including Baked from Acro, Zara's A Sweet Pastry in Paris, Mont Blanc's Signature, and the new Dolce & Gabbana, the name is escaping me, Devotion. That's also beautiful. They're all in the same family with different sort of flavors and contours and textures to them, if you will. This one is very sort of light, fluffy, tart lemon, but underneath that is this sort of sweet, vanillic, almost like a confectioner's powder base that's really nice. So this is very feminine. The critique here is it doesn't really last the longest. You get a few hours out of this. Some people, it lasts longer for them. I would say about a half a day or so, and it sits sort of closer to the skin. So keep that in mind, but I think it is beautiful for what it is. And I love the bottle. I love the color and all of that. So this is in 10th place. In 9th place, I don't own it, but it's Tony Iommi Monkey Special. I haven't tried the new one. There's a new, I think, variation on the theme that's out on the market now. Have you tried it? If so, what do you think? I have to laugh at myself because I was like, who's Tony Iommi and why is there a fragrance named after him? And all you kind souls came into the comments very gently and were like, Veronica is a guitarist for Black Sabbath. Is that right? Did I get that right? Anyway, I like that this fragrance was a darker fragrance for really men. It's very masculine. I would love to smell this on my husband. I would wear it too, but it would be something I would buy mostly for him. It was like dark and sexy and woody, and had some spices. And I remember there was some ambery, like resinous tones to it as well. And I remember thinking that it was rich and opulent and a fun fragrance for the depth of winter on my husband. So that is in number 10. And, it's supposed to have really great longevity, projection, and all of that. I can't speak to that because I only really sampled it, but this was a lovely one. And I like the bottle and the fact that there's little monkeys on it, which I understand the guitarist has monkey stickers or whatever on his guitar. I don't really know. So Tony Iommi Monkey Special in 9th place. In 8th place is a fragrance that y'all went bananas over. YouTube went absolutely bonkers over this fragrance in winter of 2022 to 2023, that winter season. And it is Starlight. And people went absolutely crazy over the bottle. I mean, the bottle's cute, but I don't know. Sometimes y'all's things get hyped up here and I'm like, are we all okay? It's just a XERJOFF. It's just a XERJOFF bottle with some stars on it. Why y'all going crazy? Anyway, to each their own, as the expression goes. I really do enjoy this fragrance. Y'all, when I joke about stuff like that, I'm just being silly. To each their own. There are some things I like, and I know y'all are like, are you okay, Veronica? Should we send you help? This is known to be a mostly cardamom fragrance. So it's like people have described this as like Christmas in a bottle. I have cooked with cardamom a lot lately, so I have an intimate familiarity with that scent as of recent. As in last night, I made a meal that was heavy on a cardamom rice as the base of an Indian dish that I was making, and I had korma chicken on top. Y'all, that was so good with some coconut cream mixed in. Ooh, so good. Y'all should come eat at my house. It was delicious. I do like this a lot. It's even better now than when I first tried it. And I joked around like this is not the cardamom bomb that people say it is. It does have it does have a lot of cardamom in it. Although I do think I have some fragrances that are even spicier than this, like Bronzo from Omnia Profumi, where those kinds of spices are even more pronounced than this. I think it's really a nicely done fragrance in the sense that the cardamom is prominent, but not overly so. It's not overdone. It's not in your face, smacking you around. And I love that there's something sort of creamy and nutty here. I believe it's an almond note in the fragrance and a woody base. And there's something nice and dry, even though I just said creamy, like the nutty aspect of this is creamy, but the fragrance overall reads a little bit dry in texture to me, which I like a lot, especially at a time when this was popular. It was like gourmand rage had started, like gourmand-ageddon, gourmand gate had broken loose on YouTube, and everybody was into really super sweet, thick, creamy fragrances. And I like that this is a little bit drier in texture, nicely lasting, very elegant holiday scent. So when you think of holiday scents, sometimes we think of candles, like Bath and Body Works candles, and scents that maybe feel a little bit more young, juvenile to folks. This is a mature, elegant, cardamom, nutty, creamy, woody fragrance. So pretty. It's very pretty and very, very unisex. So what did I say this was? 10, 9, number 8. In the lucky number 7 slot. This is loved by ladies here on YouTube, as is Lira. You know, that's a super popular one. Is this thing. Oof, Dama Bianca. So did I mention these will all be linked in the description box, by the way, and a great place to purchase these. Discount sites are probably best because these are pricey. Oh my God. Pricey bottles. Joma Shop carries them for good discount. You can also check FragranceNet, Fragrance by CA, those types of places. I'll link below where these can be found. Dama Bianca smells like this bottle looks. Think fairy-like, translucent, powdery, ethereal, light in texture, hovering in the air. It is vanilla. It is like iris violet combination, like that sort of makeup-y type of smell, but even deeper. Iris and violet, very feminine fragrance, vanilla, powder, light, ethereal, elegant. This is the fragrance you put on when you want to sort of float across the room. You want to float. You don't want to have a heavy presence. You want to feel feminine and bright and airy, but very, very girly, very feminine. This is so pretty. There's a woodiness and a slight, very light, thin muskiness in the base as well. This has decent lasting power. I would say of the ones that I'm going to share with you today, Lira has the weakest longevity by far. This one may be right after that, which isn't saying much because this is strong too. And then the ones that come after it are pretty like beast mode long lasting, but beautiful, super feminine. And some people describe this as like a perfect wedding fragrance, or like think of like a quinceañera. If you don't know what that means, it's like a Latino culture thing, particularly Central American, Mexican, when you have like a coming out party when, you know, in your teenage years, like a cotillion. It's a cotillion type of a deal. Gosh, so elegant, so pretty. In the number 6 slot is a fragrance that I love and is super powerful. You need a spray or two. Don't spray anymore or you're going to hurt yourself. This is, you're going to end up in the hospital with like olfactory overload. And it's a controversial fragrance. Not many folks enjoy this because it is so strong. This is Pikovaya Dama. Strongly aldehydic fragrance, very much in the neighborhood of like a Chanel No. 5 type of experience, in that it is mega aldehydic, very sort of elevated, elegant, creamy, soapy type of scent with some ambery tones. And I believe there's some spices in here as well. Although predominantly it is like this elegant cleanliness. I don't know. It's just like the creamiest, most luxurious soap you've ever tried in your life. It's warm. It's like a golden soapiness. Really super strong. I don't know why I need to tell you all this every time. You probably don't care. I'm not crazy about like the stone label on the front. Some people really like this. What is it called? Cat's eye or something else? There's another technical name for this stone. It is part of, I think it's called the Stone Label Collection, this part of the XERJOFF lineup. Anyway, gorgeous, mega expensive, a full 100 mil, 3 ounce bottle of this, I believe is pushing 700 US dollars. Lord have mercy. This is a 1.7 ounce, and this is hard to get under 300. I managed to get it on sale when Joma Shop was having a XERJOFF sale. So keep your eyes open for this. One of the most sophisticated scents out on the market. It's like old school perfumery at its best without smelling vintage. To me, it doesn't smell vintage, but it is a very mature fragrance, and you have to be careful because it will wear you, that type of a thing. Gorgeous. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, number 6 slot. Now we're getting serious. We're down to the top 5, friends. This is hard because there's a clear number 1 for me. And then after that, it's like you could switch any one of these out for slots 2, 3, 4, and 5. But for the sake of argument and this video and creating a ranking, we're going to put Dolce Amalfi at the number 5 slot. Number 5. My sticker is already coming up, which aggravates the crap out of me considering how expensive these are. Although I got it on sale on Joma Shop, but I'm making my way and creating a little bit of a dent in this, which is hard to do because this is a very strong fragrance. I may have decanted a little bit for a friend. So maybe all of that is not my dent, but I love the color of this bottle, this like nearly orangey mustard color. And so it says Dolce Amalfi. So I think of the Amalfi Coast, the Amalfi Coast of Italy, which is I think what this is supposed to represent, including the sticker. But the scent itself is really, it's a really powerhouse fragrance. I associated the most with a fall scent, although this is beautiful in spring and gorgeous in the summer too. And I jokingly and lovingly call this my juicy fruit fragrance because it smells like juicy fruit gum with amber tones. There's this gorgeous, almost like banana-esque touch to this. Apples. I think there's cinnamon. There's other spices. There's like maybe, I was going to say cardamom, but I don't know. Maybe it's nutmeg and cinnamon and this nice ambery tone in the base and some, I think it's woods in the base, amber and woods. And it's so good. So imagine juicy fruit with a spicy like apple compote almost underneath it. Really good, strong, long-lasting, projecting, happy, vibrant, golden smelling fragrance. Really, really good, really unusual, unique, and different. But once you get that juicy fruit thing in your mind, you're not going to be able to get it out. So I'm sorry if I ruined the fragrance for you if you hate juicy fruit, because it's like that for me. Juicy fruit with base and oomph and spices and amber added. And like I said, those apple, like cooked apple tones to it. Oof, so good. Really beautiful. So that's number 5. And then number 4, I wore yesterday. I know I'm obnoxious. Pardon me. Don't confirm that in the comments. That would be rude. Keep that to yourself. Erba Gold, number 4. I wore this yesterday. It's newer to my collection, and I just adore this. I believe Twisted Lily sent this to me a couple of months ago, and I fell in love immediately upon trying it. So this is, we believe, a flanker. I keep saying we believe. I don't know who the we is, but no one has confirmed that it is technically a flanker of Erba Pura. And it really doesn't matter because it's different enough to me that it stands on its own. It does have a musky base. It's not quite as a pronounced and perhaps what some people perceive to be a scratchy, screechy musk like you might perceive in Erba Pura. I don't really get that, but I get that people think that about the fragrance. I totally understand. I mean, it does have a little bit of scratchiness to it. So, I mean, I understand how people think that. This is one of the smoothest musks that I've tried, especially in the XERJOFF lineup. And what I love about this also has a little bit of a, now that I think about it, a tiny bit of that sort of juicy fruit tone to it. But the majority of this fragrance experience for me is this fresh, fruity melon. I shouldn't say fresh, excuse me, because it's actually deep. A deep, fruity melon scent. It's like summer fruits all in one. Imagine ripened cantaloupe, ripened honeydew, maybe watermelon, maybe some citrus fruits together in a bowl, and they've marinated. You've even sprinkled sugar on top of that to sweeten it up even further. Perhaps there's some simple syrup or some other kind of sugary syrup that's been added to give that salad some thickness. This is what that smells like. It's so juicy, fruity to me. However, not fruity in the berry direction, like strawberries, like blueberries or blackberries or raspberries. That's a different kind of fruitiness, not apple fruitiness. It's a melon fruit to me with that nice, delicious, musky base that really serves as a foundation for it rather than the star player. This is nicely lasting. It's a beautiful, happy smell. It's happy. It's so, so good. It's so good. I bet that maybe one of y'all suggested this and I'm stealing your idea, but I bet that these two, Dolce Amalfi and Erba Gold, would smell amazing together because they would complement each other nicely. They could be like kissing cousins or something. Okay, in the number 3 slot, I have raved and raved about this fragrance. It sits on my husband's shelf, although I adore it and sneak wears of it too. This is the absolutely gorgeous Naxos. One of, to me, the most elegant, sophisticated, refined fragrances in all of the market right now. You'll see some reviews from some haters that are like, I don't understand the hype of Naxos. And I'm so sorry for those people that they're missing the beauty that is this glorious thing right here. It's positively unisex, although I would say some people may argue that it has some masculine tones to it. Guys, the fragrance is primarily this really soft, smooth lavender. There's different kinds of lavenders. There's like the bedsheet lavender that is almost, I don't know, it can smell a little cheap. This is like lavender oil, which is different. It's richer, it's more decadent. There's a tobacco note here. There's honey to give it depth, to make it decadent and give it some thickness. A little bit of tobacco. Did I say tobacco already? I'm sorry. Vanilla in the fragrance. This is so good. So good. This is, we joke around and say that this is the money fragrance. You know, when you want to close the deal, put your best suit on and put some Naxos on and take your clients out for dinner and close the deal. Wow. Elegance in a bottle. I think for me, this is squarely unisex, but for the sake of the audience, and I know you have a different tolerance for what unisex means, there are a few toes over in masculine territory. Commanding fragrance, commanding, beautiful. In the number 2 slot, and this would have been my number 1 if I hadn't found my number 1 because I really love this fragrance. It is a powerhouse. So you have to love strong spring, feminine floral fragrances. This is Accento Overdose in this gorgeous, almost like gold leafed bottle. I mean, it's not technically, but it gives the impression of that. Glorious bottle. This will make a beautiful, beautiful wedding scent and look fantastic in your photos. Mine is chipped right there, and I'm a little sad about that, but there it is. This fragrance is everything feminine and beautiful without overwhelming, in my opinion, even though it's strong. And what I mean by that is some white florals, especially the more traditional vintagey ones, have a cloying nature to them. This is not cloying to me at all. It is just, it's so beautifully elegant, nicely projecting, well, excuse me, hugely projecting if you overspray this. The entire state will smell you. It lasts a long time. It has the brightest white florals in it with just the right amount of aldehydes. And it's not like soapy. It's just this like fresh cleanliness to the fragrance. Some people pick up a lot of fruitiness in here. I pick up something that's sweet in the fruity direction, but I wouldn't call it a fruity fragrance. For me, this is a heavily floral fragrance more than anything. Floral, fresh and clean. So fresh and so clean, clean. And there is a pine note in the base that gives this a touch of greenness as well. A touch. It's not a green fragrance. Although if you look at Fragrantica, some people pick this up as a more fruity and green fragrance. Clean and floral for me. And strong and gorgeous and commanding and elegant. And it reminds me of a fragrance. A note in a fragrance that I used to love in yesteryear, and I cannot put my finger on it, and it's bothering me. One day I will come across whatever that fragrance is and let y'all know. But in the meantime, I need to pull this out and go ahead and wear it soon because I adore this. I adored it from the minute that I tried it and continue to just fall head over heels for this every time that I sniff it. Freaking beautiful. Beautiful. Masterpiece status. And then my number 1 XERJOFF. Must get a bottle of this if I run out, because I will at some point. I'm about a third of the way through this one out of my large collection. This is the gorgeous Shunkoin. So the notes are vaulted. We are not allowed to see what they are. And yes, there are notes out on Fragrantica. When I've said that before, some people have said it says on Fragrantica that it has XYZ notes. A quick note for all of you that Fragrantica notes are not always accurate. And then people get to submit what they think it smells like and add their thoughts. So think of Fragrantica as like a conglomeration of other people's opinions on what the notes are versus maybe the actual ones, unless someone has posted the actual notes from the notes revealed by the website itself. That happens too. But what I pick up in this fragrance, hear me here. This is the most comforting, cocooning, well, one of the most comforting and cocooning fragrances in my collection. It smells like if you could go to a spa for a day and they could wrap you in comfort, warmth, and confidence, it would be this in a fragrance. I pick up in here what is the equivalent of something like a sandalwood, soft sandalwood, coconut, tea, like a warm tea. There's even a slight subtle spiciness here, a powderiness. It's just like a warm blanket. It's so good. So think creamy sandalwood, maybe milky. Some people may say it's milky. Sandalwood with something in the coconut and tea direction. Yeah. Imagine like tea and soft coconut, soft milky coconut and sandalwood in lotion form. Something like that. It's such a hard fragrance to describe, and it's subtle, easy to wear, easygoing. No one will be offended by this. You can douse yourself in it and not offend a single soul. It plays nicely, adds your skin warms up. It like meshes with your skin chemistry, if you will. It comes across a little bit different as it warms up than it does even on paper. It's like a second skin spa comfort thing. Hard to describe, but really sort of touches the depths of my soul. And that's why it is in the #1 spot, #1 for XERJOFF. So that is my countdown for today. Let me know your thoughts. What are your favorite XERJOFF fragrances? Drop them in the comments. Is there a XERJOFF you have not tried that you would like to try? Let us know about that too. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. The House of Amouage will be the next house review that we go over. Take care, friends.